Hello friends, in this video we learn how to make single phase motor starter and also learn advantages of using motor starter to run any of the motor. So let's start and first understand advantages of using a starter to run any of the motor. So first advantage is that if we run our motor with the help of MCB or any of the switch, and if power cut and then power comes, okay, so our motor will start automatically if power comes because MCB is in on position, also switch is in on position. So it is a major disadvantages of using MCB or switch to run any of the motor. But if we use any of the motor starter to run motor, then if power cut and power comes again, then our motor will not start automatically because we use push button. If we want to start our motor again after power comes, so we need to start our motor with the push button. So it's a major advantage is that for using starter. Second advantage is that if we run any of the motor by MCB or switch, then if our motor bearing problem or any of the problem in motor by which our motor takes more current, but if we use MCB, then our motor will burn because not of the any protection we connect to the motor. But if we use any of the starter, then we can connect overload relay by which our motor will save. If our motor takes more current, then overload relay will trip our starter, so our motor will save and we can check what is the problem in the motor. It's a major advantage of using a starter. But for single phase we use another type of relay. This relay is for 3-phase motor. If you run any of the single phase motor, then you need to connect a single phase overload relay. We do not have any of the single phase relay, so let's understand simple connection of motor starter. So hope you clear both advantages of using a starter. First understand which is component is used to run any of the single phase motor. We use 220 volt contactor to start our motor. We use one push button, stop push button, one start push button NO element, and in place of motor we use one indicator, okay, for power wiring. We use indicator for motor. We understand power wiring and control wiring both very easily, okay. As we know, it is a single phase motor, okay. So first we connect phase N neutral to contactor power terminal. It is a contactor power terminal and it is a contactor control terminal. You can see that it is a coil A1 and A2 or A1 or A2, okay. So first we understand power wiring to run any of the motor. After that we learn control wiring. So we connect phase N neutral directly to the contactor power terminal first. Now we connect power wiring first. Phase N neutral takes and gives contactor power terminal phase N neutral. Then we take phase N neutral gives to the motor directly, okay. It is a very simple power wiring. Now understand control wiring connection. As we know, for control wiring we need to start our contactor. So first we connect a neutral directly to the coil A1 terminal, and after that we give phase with the help of push button. First we connect a neutral directly. You can take the neutral from one wire from MCB, but we have neutral here, so we connect one looping to this point and to the contactor A1 point. So first connect one looping neutral directly. So we connect a neutral directly to the coil to power terminal. You can see here we connect one connected. So neutral direct goes to the contactor terminals to contactor coil. Now understand power. Now understand phase wiring with the help of push button. Now we connect one wire for phase wire, and first we will connect stop push button NC element, okay, for stopping. When we press this NC element, our starter will stop. So we connect one connector here and make sure connection should be full tight, okay. So we connect easy, and output of NC terminal we connect one connector and connect it to the start push button NO element input supply, okay. So output of NC element goes to the input for NO element, which is start element, okay. So we connect this wire for start push button, okay. Now you can notice that from this point supply comes continuously because we connect NC element, so supply comes directly. When we press this push button, then supply goes to the contactor coil. So we connect one connector from start push button or NO element. Okay. Now when we connect this push button, our contactor will operate, but operate for only when we press push button. Okay. When you stop pressing push button, your starter will stop because we not connect a holding supply yet. Okay. First operate how it operates. Okay. After that we will provide holding connection. You can notice that neutral we connected directly and phase goes through this push button. Okay. We start first supply. Now we start supply first. Okay. Now when we press push button, contactor operate and motor will run, but manually. Okay. You can notice that contactor operate and motor run manually. For operating permanently, we need to connect a holding supply. Okay. We connect a holding supply very easily, but if you want to learn a holding supply permanently, how it works, how to connect, so we make already full video on how to make holding and what is holding. So link provided in description, you can watch easily. First you understand how to provide holding. Okay. So we need to take supply from NC output side or NO input side. Okay. For holding supply, so we connect one connector here and provide to the contactor NO element. You can see that contactor NO element. Okay. So you now notice that your supply comes continuously here. So we connect one connector to the NO element. So supply comes continuously to NO terminal. Okay. And we connect one connector from contactor coil A2 to a contactor NO terminal. Okay. We connect one connector here. Okay. Now when contactor operate, when we press push button, contactor operate. Okay. So contactor operate, supply comes to the this NO makes ANC and supply comes here, and we connect one connector here. So our starter will operate permanently because this holding supply comes to the contactor coil. So it is a simple process of providing holding. Now we connect one connector here to contactor NO terminal. Now we connect one connector to the NO input side and it connect to the contactor NO terminal. Okay. We connect this holding supply to contactor NO terminal. Now we connect one connector from contactor coil A2 to contactor NO terminal for looping purpose. Okay. So we connect looping from coil A2 to contactor NO terminal. So we connect one looping from contactor coil A2 and we connect it to the contactor NO terminal. Okay. When contactor operate, NO makes NC and supply comes to the contactor coil. Now our starter makes completely. Now understand how it works. We start first control MCB. When press push button, our contactor will operate permanently and motor will start. Okay. You can see that motor start permanently. If you want to stop, then you have to stop first. Okay. By stop push button. Start, stop, start, stop. It is a very simple starter. You can make very easily. Okay. So I hope you clear the concept for how to make motor starter. If you want to connect overload relay, then you can connect also overload relay in single phase motor. If you run three phase motor, then you connect this overload relay. This is a three phase overload relay. So I hope you clear the concept of how to make starter. If you like this video, please press like button, and if you have any query, please ask in comments box. For today is enough. We'll meet next video. Thanks for watching.